Once you have acquired foreign naturalization, you automatically lose all the benefits and privileges of being a Filipino citizen. And that means you cannot use your Philippine passport when traveling, only to show proof that you have been a former Filipino citizen. This means that even though you possess a Philippine passport, you cannot use that passport to travel to the Philippines. This is because that Philippine passport has become void once you have acquired a foreign citizenship. Let's define who is a former Filipino. A former Filipino is a natural-born citizen of the Philippines who have been naturalized in a foreign country. So that means, for example, that after residing in a foreign country, you decided to become a foreign citizen, then you are essentially renouncing your Philippine citizenship. However, if you move to a foreign country and remain there as a permanent resident even for several decades, you cannot be considered a former Filipino because you have not been naturalized in the foreign country. Now, once you become a foreign citizen, you are essentially renouncing your Philippine citizenship, and that means even if you have a valid Philippine passport, that passport can be considered void and you cannot use it to travel to the Philippines. For former Filipinos who have been naturalized in a foreign country, possession of an unexpired Philippine passport does not make you a dual citizen. You must reacquire Philippine citizenship by taking an oath of allegiance before the Philippine consulate abroad before you can reacquire Philippine citizenship. Now, here are the immigration entry requirements for former Filipinos. You can present your foreign passport plus your old or expired or valid Philippine passport, or you can also present your foreign passport plus your authentic birth certificate. For former Filipino citizens without valid or old Philippine passport or PSA birth certificate, you're also entitled to 30 days of visa-free stay. Former Filipino citizens are entitled to 1-year visa-free stay in the Philippines, and this includes former Filipinos with valid or old Philippine passport or PSA birth certificate. Also for foreign spouse or foreign child of Filipino or former Filipino, they're also entitled to 1-year visa-free stay in the Philippines as long as they present the required immigration entry requirements. The issue is that most former Filipinos abroad do not have a valid or old or expired Philippine passport, and also they don't have the Philippine birth certificate. Now, let's talk about the return ticket or onward ticket requirements for former Filipinos. According to the Bureau of Immigration website, former Filipinos are exempt from return or onward ticket requirements. Here are the exempt from the return ticket requirement. First, Philippine passport holders. Second, former Filipinos and their dependents or immediate family members. And third, permanent residents and holders of other special visa categories. However, for former Filipinos, there are actually a special privilege granted by the Philippine government, and that is the Balikbayan visa privilege. What is the Balikbayan visa privilege? The Balikbayan program for former Filipinos is essentially a visa-free program where you can stay in the Philippines for 1 year. Former Filipinos can travel to the Philippines through the Balikbayan visa program, and you can avail this visa upon arrival in the Philippines. In addition, Balikbayan visa is free and you must proceed to Filipino lane upon arrival at the immigration. You need to ask immigration that you will be availing of Balikbayan visa. Also, in addition, you will be granted Balikbayan visa which is valid for 1 year upon arrival in the Philippines. Now, former Filipinos can travel alone or with family members such as a spouse or children. Now, if a former Filipino will be traveling together with foreign spouse or foreign children, both spouse or children can avail of Balikbayan visa and stay in Philippines visa-free for 1 year. Now, for former Filipinos or Filipinos traveling with their foreign spouse, the foreign spouse must present their foreign passport plus authentic marriage certificate. If traveling with a foreign child, foreign passport plus authentic birth certificate. For adopted child, foreign passport plus adoption certificate. If you are a former Filipino citizen, you can use your Philippine passport to avail of the balikbayan privilege of staying in the Philippines visa-free for 1 year. However, you are still considered a foreign national for purposes of enforcing Philippine immigration laws. This means that if you overstayed in the Philippines, you must pay the extension fee if you're going to extend your stay, or pay the fines if you have failed to extend your visa or stay, and then you must also secure a clearance. Because you're a former Filipino citizen, your stay in the Philippines is limited. This means that you are subject to the immigration requirements when staying in the Philippines. If you are availing of the balikbayan privilege and wanted to stay in the Philippines for a period of 1 year, you can do so. However, if you forgot to extend your stay in the Philippines after 1 year, you could be subjected to fines or penalties. There are a lot of former Filipino citizens who are staying in the Philippines beyond 1 year, and this is due to some personal reasons or medical reasons. And sometimes they forgot that they are no longer Filipino citizens and they still continue to stay. If you don't want to be a dual citizen but wanted to stay permanently in the Philippines, there are other options. One option is to apply for a 13G visa. The 13G visa is equivalent to a permanent residency. Your first option is to extend your stay or pay the extension fee or pay the fines. Another option is that you can apply for a 13G visa. Former Filipino citizens can apply for an immigrant visa in the Philippines, and this type of visa is called the 13G visa. The third option is that you can apply for dual citizenship in the Philippines. However, there are a lot of documentary requirements and the processing could take more than 30 days. My recommendation is that if you wanted to stay permanently in the Philippines, just apply for dual citizenship. This is because there are more privileges and benefits of being a Filipino citizen, especially if you're living in the Philippines. Please take note that foreign nationals living in the Philippines, including former Filipino citizens, have restrictions when staying there permanently. If you have any other questions or comments, please post them down below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Again, thank you guys for supporting my channel. And if you haven't liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. I always welcome new subscribers. Thank you guys for watching. I hope everyone is staying safe and have a great day.